Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at 3 things that Spirit wants you to know. And I'm going to separate this into 3 separate readings, but I feel like there's information in each reading for you. They might all bleed into one another. I'm not sure yet. If your intuition tells you just to watch 1 or just to watch 2, trust that. Okay? So I'm going to flip the camera around so we can look at the cards together and find out what it is that Spirit has to tell you and wants to say to you today. But first, let me shuffle out 3 cards to represent each reading, just in case some of you just want to watch 1 or 2. And then I'll change the camera. You can choose your group, or you can just watch all the way through. So let's see, Spirit, a card. I'm going to leave this face down, though, so just trust your intuition. Wherever your intuition is pulling you. As I say, the way my intuition works with these kinds of pick a card type deals is the first thing that I feel pulled to. The first thing my eye goes to, it's almost like I can physically feel the card or feel the object. That's usually the right pile. But again, this could be one big message. So let's see. I feel like that's the intention, okay? That it's one big message, but 3 separate things you need to know. Okay. All right, so I'll show you the cards and I'll see you in your reading. Okay, first reading. Let's see what Spirit has to say to you. The mundane. So Spirit wants to talk to you about something that's happening in the everyday. I'm also seeing a real need to find alignment throughout the day. There's a morning practice that you could initiate or continue or put more intention towards, even if this is like a 1 minute kind of close your eyes and meditate, or a 1 minute take a deep breath or look at the sun. There's something grounding that sets you up for the rest of the day. It changes your perception and allows your third eye to open too. It's like you're more intuitive and you're able to intuitively flow through your day. There's also a suggestion here that you start with the tasks that are familiar and easiest to you at the beginning of the day. Now, the number 24 is sticking out to me, so this could be for 24 days you want to do this, or something happening on the 24th. But let's get further in and see what's going on. Now, this charm also, there's a message here with this. This represents Virgo, and Virgo is about the everyday. It rules the 6th house. The mundane in some ways, but also organization and communication and things like that. But yeah, third eye. There's something about aligning yourself with the energies of the day. Pay attention to how you feel when you wake up and try to organize your day in a way that suits your state, your energetic state, your flow. Because some of you are pushing yourself really hard. And there's an easier way to go about things. Okay, let's keep going and see what else we get. I'll put the names of all the decks in the description box below. Writing. And you'll notice these cards, they have the polarities on them. So we have transcendent and mundane, writing and reading. Writing. So you have some kind of mastery that is valued and valuable. There's something you can put out there, maybe just to yourself or maybe to the world. You know, one of these practices, I know this is like kind of, I don't know, common advice, but I am seeing it. One of these morning practices could be journaling, or journaling at night, to get all the thoughts out of your mind. There's also a message here to carry around a pen and paper or a little notepad so that when you get your downloads, when you get your inspiring thoughts, that you immediately write them down so you don't forget. but it feels like whatever you're writing is encrypted, I'm hearing. There's a secret message in what you're writing. Maybe you haven't even figured it out yet. Something you're going to go back to and read and understand in a different way in the future. Yeah, you're writing some kind of message to yourself, even if you don't think you are. Some of you should try, well, you should all try this. Automatic writing. See what comes through. Get into a meditative state, or just try to clear your mind as much as possible and see what comes out. See what thoughts come into your head and just start writing. Sometimes when you're in the flow state of that, there are no thoughts, it's just writing. Okay, so let's get the rest of the cards out and we'll see what's going on here for your message. I'm going to pull this deck off camera because there's some images I may need to cover up with charms. So let's see. The mundane. Veil. Barrier, unseen and hidden. Yeah, it's like, exactly, it's encrypted. This card wants to come out. Initiation. Change, courage, threshold. Okay. Let's keep going here. Okay, the hero at the bottom, the chariot. Interesting. There is something happening in your day-to-day that you can't quite get answers to or figure out. Okay, maybe it's an odd occurrence, maybe there's something going on health-wise, or communication in a relationship, or you're just every day you're feeling kind of off and strange. You're not really sure why. For some of you, it's more tangible. You know exactly what's bothering you. You can't figure it out. You could have writer's block, that kind of thing, creator's block, but you're going to untwist that knot. You're going to untie a knot with something and everything's going to be laid out clearly in 24 days, 22 to 24 days. Okay? So your ego self, what your ego self is asking of you right now is the hermit, the loner. So this is Virgo energy again. And this is a desire that you're having to, yes, figure something out, but also have some more time for yourself. There's some deep reflection that you want to do. This is your ego. Like, you want to do this. Okay, you could be going quiet, going on do not disturb mode. You could be not taking as many calls, saying no to things, feeling this real pull to go deep, deep within. And what are other people asking of you at this time? Well, they're asking you to show up. This is why you feel like withdrawing. Okay, they're asking you to be a support system for them and to show up. You're some kind of leader or mentor, teacher, guide. You're a support system. You're a shoulder to lean on. You're the expert. Okay? And you have a lot of confidence and you don't waver in what you know and what you do. But I feel like showing up like this day in and day out is wearing on you because the support cards here, there's a lot of unnecessary pressure that either other people are putting on you or you're putting on yourself. You are actually, yes, you are very strong, but you are also very soft and fragile. Not in a weak way, but in a way where you do need support, you do need care, but you keep this hidden. Okay, sometimes you keep it hidden from yourself too. I feel as though Spirit is saying that you need to work on your own project, or your own goal or something that's just for you. There's a rebalancing that needs to happen, and maybe for some of you it's even like tipping the scales even more over on, I'm hearing on the left side, interesting, on the left side, to explore what means the most to you, because it feels as though you might be putting some of your own interests and desires on the back burner. If you are writing, write for yourself. It feels like this Eight of Swords energy is veiled. It's in the background. Nobody else is seeing this. Nobody understands the complexity of your mind and your thoughts. And this is why there's a message to get into alignment day in and day out, so that this can be untied, unknotted, and released, so that you can explore the things that you want to and need to explore. There's an initiation process that you are going through. Okay, so what does your higher self want to say to you? And Spirit. 6 of Fire and 6 of Air. This is where I see a lot of the pressure. There's something about being successful or being victorious, not letting others down, not letting yourself down. You know, doing your job and doing it well. And you are, but there's a switch up in the energy that's happening right now. And you may be working against it, rather than working with it. And what I mean by that is like you're trying to push through the exhaustion, or you're trying to push through the worry and the anxiety when you need to listen to it. And in your ego self, like your conscious mind, which isn't a bad thing here. Your ego's not bad here, okay? Your conscious mind is telling you, yes, I need to go find out what's going on for me and take a step back. And you can ask Spirit for support because it's here. So Spirit wants you to separate yourself more from the energy of having to do everything right or do everything perfectly. You've set real high expectations for yourself, and that's a good thing, but you also need to be kind to yourself and allow yourself to relax a little bit. You can accomplish things without having to go 2000%. Okay, and if there is like an actual award or reward or promotion or some kind of so-called win in a relationship that you feel is on the line, Spirit wants you to move away from those ideas and those thoughts. You know, those are turbulent kind of energies that aren't serving you right now. Try to detach from that. And your advice here is the Cosmic Seeker, the Fool. This is exactly why you feel this way, to go into so-called hermit mode. I don't feel it's like you want to escape from the entire world. Maybe some of you do. But there's this feeling of like, I need a day to myself. I need these hours of the night to be just for me. Like, what about all the things that I was wanting to do? Where's all the time for that? Well, Spirit's saying reclaim it. Because intuitively, you know that there's something opening up for you, a new path. And there is. I'm going to get a little bit more on this, but my intention with these readings was to move through them a little bit quickly. But let's see, what do we want to know more about? Now, if you are literally writing something, or you're thinking about it, or you were a writer but you haven't written in a long time, then a change in direction, a change of topic, a change of subject, or a chapter that's different from another could really help you break up some difficult energy. I'm hearing you've already won, you've already passed. Maybe some of you are going in front of a publisher, an editor, a committee, or something like that. whatever you're working on that's really important to you and feels fragile is 100% leading in a new direction. There's no setbacks here. The only setback is in your mind. But again, I feel like you work that out. The biggest thing I'm concerned about is this Queen of Earth, how others are seeing you and expecting you to show up. So let's ask more about that. The Magician. Oh, well, look, you can make anything happen. You're the call person, right? Something needs to get done. They call you. Something comes up. You're the person. You know, it's like, you can make it happen, or you will make it happen. In relationships, you're probably the one who is the backbone. Because you are very resourceful. And generally, you do know what to do to make things happen. But this is this has been an important part of your path, and it is still going to be a part of your path to be this confident leader who offers innovative ideas, but also security at the same time. But this is a little bit of a wake-up call for you from Spirit to say, we want you to get back to balancing yourself every day, to realigning yourself every day, to prioritizing yourself every day. Where can you find more time for yourself? It's necessary, because what's on the line is this Fool, is this cosmic seeker, is this new cycle. You're writing your new cycle into existence. Can I get a couple more? Yeah, look. The Wheel of Fortune, Judgment. Okay, so we know this is a big deal. But it's coming through as the mundane, right? Which is why this message is so important for you, because it's something you could brush off. Like, oh yeah, I don't really want to talk to this person, but I said I'd call them. I don't really have the energy to go do this thing for this person, but I know they're relying on me. All those little things. I got to answer 20 emails today, etc. Spirit saying, create a boundary, create a barrier, prioritize, I'm hearing a hierarchy of needs. Okay, well, then, put yourself on up to the task of taking care of yourself. Okay, what is, what else could I ask here? More advice on what collective could do, what you could do. This is reminding me of the reading card, but there's something about mastery coming through again, and communication and sharing that mastery that you have. Okay, I feel like some of you are still dabbling in the learning phase, or the teacher or the apprentice phase, but you're actually the master, the teacher, and with that role comes some reprieve. So maybe you need to delegate some of your work, or just take a step back. You don't have to prove yourself. Some of you are really trying to prepare for something, but you're already prepared. Your soul knows how to speak and write whatever it is you need to. Any other advice? There's also something about daily movement. Okay, even if that's just going up a flight of stairs, or walking around, or making your bed, but doing it intentionally. Like, think about all your muscles moving, and your joints and your nerves, and think about your body while you're moving around. King of Swords, it helps with your mind. Okay, that's the first message that I have for you. This will clear something up, something that's confusing you, something that feels like a block, and some fear you have. It's very practical advice that Spirit's giving you about taking care of yourself and creating some kind of spiritual schedule that you can adhere to throughout the day in order to bring yourself back into alignment. And then the other big practical advice here is not to feel the need that you have to show up as the strong person in every situation, or you have to do everything just because you can. You know, you need to conserve some of that energy because there's a new journey beginning. And this is a huge initiation. Where are you going to put your energy? You need to put it back into yourself at this time. Okay? So let's move into reading 2. Okay, reading 2. Let's see what the second thing is that you need to know. Or the first, depending on how you chose to interact with this reading. Ego. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I need all the cards out before I say too much. And then that's a message for someone. You need to see the full picture of something or have a bigger perspective, a larger perspective of something before you say something. Okay? You might be tempted to simplify something when it's actually pretty complicated. So let's get some more cards out and see how this message develops. The ego. Spirit wants to talk to you about your ego. And the ego is not bad. It can be, but just in general, it's kind of neutral. You can have a healthy, well-integrated, good ego that is very useful for you. Kind of a superpower when you have that. Or you could have an inflated ego. You could be egotistic. You could have a wounded ego. So it all depends, but let's see. Awareness of your ego. Okay. Okay. I like that. Sometimes we all need to remember that. Or all the time. Okay, I'm going to pull these off camera because I might need to cover up some of the cards with charms. So let's see. I think this one, well, let's just get a charm anyway. Transcendence of the ego. Okay, this is pretty clear so far. Maybe you've already done this. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Oh, yes, we need some charms here. 1 second. Interesting charms. Okay, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Here we are. Nectar. This rock fell out too. Okay, let's keep going. Source. Oh, I think I forgot to pull out one of these cards for the last reading. The Alchemist. Wow, look at these cards. The Magician, the Fool, Justice. Okay, well, something that you're really desiring and want can indeed be yours. It's likely to be yours, but there's a decision that you need to make about how you're going to approach it. And right away, the obvious message is that you need to integrate your ego, to alchemize the more shadowy parts of your ego with your higher self so that you're balanced, so that you're in alignment with Source. And you are the alchemist, so you can do this. Give me one more over here. Ace of Swords and 10 of Cups. Okay. let me just look at this. I am speaking to someone who is very aware of their ego. And you have a real opportunity to use it. Maybe even use the shadow parts of your ego. You might need to stand up for yourself or act more assertive than you usually do. And there's something in your shadow that is quite possible of doing that. So working with that in a positive way for the highest good of all is definitely something that you could do right now. There's something that, oops, sorry, I meant to turn that down. There's something that's backwards. You're turning it around. On this nectar card, it says essence, fulfillment, and delight with awareness. Now, I also feel like you're encountering a lot of ego out there in the world or in your situation. And those around you that you're encountering may not know that the weaknesses of their own mind, I'm hearing, or the weaknesses of their own ego wounds. Interesting. Somebody has a very strong soul, but it's almost like their ego mask is affixed to them, that the powers activated in their soul can't come through and do the work they actually want themselves to do. I feel like this is someone else. You also may be really well aware of how to distract someone or how to talk to someone's ego, I'll say. This seems to be something powerful, a gift or a skill that you have that is working in your benefit. And the reason why I don't think this is like a negative, manipulative thing that's going on is because Source is in the center of your reading. Now, I will say it's like you realize the source of something, the source of the issue, or the source of the creation. I'm also getting the creation of something. But you're being guided to work with ego, with your own, but also with others. And the way that you're working with ego with others isn't necessarily to help transmute or transform them, but it's to understand where they're coming from. Because they're not coming from whoever this is or whatever situation you're in. They're not coming from a soul consciousness. Not right now, not in this moment, not in this situation. Okay, and knowing that is to your advantage. Now, what your ego is saying to you is the sorcerer, the magician. Your ego is saying to yourself that you are all powerful. And I feel like that is true. Now, of course, we can't let that go off the rails. We have to act in humility as well and recognize that there are forces outside of ourselves, beyond ourselves, that are perhaps greater than ourselves, that we are a part of, but may never fully comprehend. But because you can tap on your power and not be afraid of being criticized for it, or you stand firm and confident in your skill, you're able to make something happen in the way you want it to happen. I also feel like you have a good read on how other people perceive you, because you can see with ascent, elevation, oneness, it's like you can transcend your ego mind to see your ego mind, if that makes sense. Okay, it's like we can't ever get rid of our ego, but we can definitely become aware of it, and that's here. So how others are seeing you is the Fool, the cosmic seeker. So they see you as on a quest for something, but there's almost like a novice energy here, a new beginning energy, that you're just at the start of something. Maybe that you're taking risks or that you need to take risks. There's also a perception somebody or a group of people have of you that you're a good leader and you're worth following, but sometimes you don't know where you're going. And I don't think that's actually true. You're way more experienced than someone gives you credit for. Or you have like actual experiences that you've gone through that shows you your own mastery. You know, like there's a real backbone you have that others aren't they're not picking it up. They're seeing this flowy cape instead. They could see you as a little bit detached from reality, or a little bit dreamy, or a little bit like kind of, I'm hearing even off your rocker at times. I don't know, but you're interesting. There's something worth looking at. They feel they want to follow you. They're curious. Okay. They want to go wherever you're going, but they don't know where you're going. I feel like you know that. Okay. This might turn out for you to sometimes be a frustrating experience. Okay, because some people around you, certainly in the past, have expected you to lead them somewhere specific, even though you never promised that, you know? And then when you didn't lead them to where they wanted to go, in whatever realm, you know, in love and work, wherever, well, what? Yeah, Five of Pentacles. They felt hard done by. They felt betrayed. They felt like they shouldn't have trusted you, that they lost something. But that was just their assumption, you know, that if they were listening to their soul and not relying on someone else to take them where they want to go, then they wouldn't have made up that story that they did in their mind about who you are and what they can get from you and what you're all about. So there's something kind of mysterious about you. And some people in your life respect that mystery and don't try to get to the bottom of it, and others really do. They really try to get to the bottom of your mystery, and in doing that, they just make up stories of who you are, which don't turn out to be true. Interesting. Well, this is so specific too. Okay. How your higher self sees you. The rebel, Justice. Justice is about balance, balancing the ego and the higher self, the unconscious or subconscious self and the conscious mind. You are not afraid to go against the grain. And this could be why people don't know where you're going. Because you go to unexpected places that they've never been, or they've never seen, or they can't even imagine or fathom. You know, I feel like, yes, you're a way shower for sure. But some people are unable to see that way that you're showing them because they impose their own lens onto what they're looking at. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, I feel very strongly in your energy, or there's somebody here. Maybe it's not for all of you. There's someone here, and it's kind of like a Scorpio vibe, maybe even Sag. Doesn't have to be in your like top 3, but there's this energy here of like, I know how to tell them what they want to hear in order to get what I need to get. I feel like you deliver a lot of lessons. And I don't feel like you doing that is like coming from a bad place. Can you tell me more about that feeling I'm getting here? Temperance, Death, and the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, I know what to tell them to get what I want to get. The Ten of Pentacles. Look, whoever I'm connecting with, you have a really good read on people. Now, I will say that when you're dealing with others who are coming from a higher plane of consciousness or also have an integrated ego, it might be a little bit different than your usual experience. But typically, you cross paths with a lot of people who don't really recognize how powerful you are. You are 100% an alchemist, and you transform things for your own benefit, for your own ascension. So I don't know, why do you need to know this right now? I'm going to look at the rest of the cards, but why do you need to know this? The Emperor, because there's some situation where you could feel like you don't have control, King of Pentacles, or it's rocking your sense of security and stability in some way, and Spirit's reminding you like, hello, don't forget who you are and what you're capable of. And maybe your ego has been kind of center for a little bit in regards to some situation, and you need to off-center it. You need to balance it out with another higher perspective. That's how you alchemize the situation. There's something that you're doing for the highest good of all. Okay, and you need to keep that in mind, that that's why you're doing it. And if it's not why you're doing it, and what you desire you know is not for the highest good of all, then you gotta move away from that idea. Six of Swords, that's not a good idea, okay? Yeah, Ten of Swords, not gonna turn out well, all right? Don't abuse your power that you have, because you do have it. And there's something here that maybe you feel like, oh, I'm losing grip, I'm losing control, or, you know, I'm not the authority in my own life, and spirits are saying, are you kidding? Yes, you are. And don't let other people's perception of you or characterization of you convince you otherwise, okay? So your advice is the Two of Fire, the Two of Wands. This is walking the middle path, I feel, you know, between that higher self and the ego self. What else is the advice? What else can we get here? Eight of Earth. You know what's real and what's not real because you've worked with the truth for so long. And maybe that was a hard thing to do, to look at the truth. You know where all the pieces go. And the decision, any decision that's before you or will come before you, it's pretty easy for you to see which way you should take if you choose the middle path, if you balance things out, if you look at both what your ego desires and what your higher self is telling you to do. There's something that you may need to rebel against, okay? You could be inventing a whole new path right now into existence. Tell me more. Well, and also, yeah, I mean, well, that's what we just said, right? You worked hard to know what's true and what's not. Okay, why is the Seven of Swords here, though? What's a lie? Ten of Swords. Somebody's trying to put you down or tell you you can't have something or convince you that it's the end. It's not. Look, the swords aren't even in your back, you know? Like, it's hogwash, I'm hearing. You got this. Six of Water. And you've always had it. You've always had it. Okay, whatever it is that you're desiring here with the Nine of Cups. You already have it. Okay, you're just going to realize it soon. Fulfillment, essence, delight. Well, what is it that you're taking delight in? Eight of Swords. This goes back to the first reading. Untying a knot in your mind. Relieving some anxiety you have over something. And revealing other people's anguish and anxiety might be something that you want to do. Okay, maybe to yourself or maybe in a larger context, the tribe, the world. Bringing harmony back into a situation after a lot of fraught, tense energy. That's what you're desiring. And for something as a cycle of anguish to end. Okay, and there is everything here is supporting your ability to do that. There is a tribe that supports you. Okay, these two cards came out as kind of extra. And we have the Ace of Swords with the Ten of Cups. Truth. Truth leads to happiness. I mean, it's quite simple, I feel. Truth leads to happiness. Why does that need to be said? Ace of Cups. I'm getting truth settles the score, but it also rebalances your energy. There's something about your heart, okay? Maybe like your actual anatomical heart or maybe your spiritual heart. I mean, they're together, but you know what I mean? That is going to clarify itself, clear something. There's something that's going to flow, circulate better for you in your life. The truth is out. The truth is spoken. You're living in truth, okay? And it does lead to your happiness. I love this, actually. Like Ace of Cups with the Ten of Cups. Ace of Swords with the King of Swords. This is showing you that if you begin with the intention of truth, or you begin with the intention of love and creation, then you get clarity and you get this fulfillment, this nectar, this happiness, and you know why. It's not a mystery of like, oh, how did this happen to me? How did I get this abundance? How did it blah, blah, blah? No, you know exactly what you did and what tools you worked with in order to get what you wanted. And when you know that, you can do it again and again and again. And you do. You have cycles in this lifetime of recreating happiness for yourself by walking in truth. Okay, that's what I have for you. I'm going to move to reading 3. Okay, reading 3. Let's see what the third thing is that Spirit wants to say to you. Before I turn over this card, I was just thinking as I was reshuffling the decks how lucky I am to have such a strong, powerful collective here sharing this energy. So thank you for being here. That last message, if you're coming from it, I mean, it's really humbling, honestly, and it's an honor. It's an honor to read for you. It's an honor to read for anyone. But I feel like I learn a lot from you, just energetically. So thank you. And if you didn't come from that reading, that's still true. Okay? And maybe you should check that reading out. All right. So the third message. Tree. Something growing. Something that has deep roots. The number 9. Something could have disappeared as well. Okay, there's some mystery here. Let's get the rest of the cards out and see what this message is. Nirvana. Both of these cards, it's like there's a massive progression you've made. You are well beyond the halfway point of an important journey. Okay, there's a lot of spiritual evolution here, but also a lot of wisdom, a lot of growth. Some of you have been through a little bit of a trial and an error with something, but you're getting the hang of it. There's a better perspective that you're adopting, a higher perspective, and a more multifaceted one too. There's definitely a message here that your beginnings may have been difficult, but that difficulty has allowed you to really stabilize yourself in such a way where it's very hard to rock you. So whatever you've gone through in the past, it's given you deep, deep roots that ground you. Okay? You're very solid, stable, and you have a direction. Okay, so I'm going to get more cards out. I'm going to pull these off camera. I may need to cover some of them up with charms, so let's see. Tell me about the tree. Oh, the Oracle. Yeah. See? It's an honor to read for you. It says on it, growth, timeless, beyond. Beautiful. The roots in the dark, the sun in the light. The sun. Okay. Tell me more about nirvana. Armor. Protection, shield, and defensive. Wow. Your armor, whatever your armor is beautiful. And there's a precision. I'm hearing a precision to your armor. I don't know exactly what that means. One second. There's something going on with these swords here. What was once a dagger has now become a sword of truth for you. Okay, something you know, or something that you had to learn. It's like you could have used it to hurt others or to get back at people, you know, like it was a little bit of a dagger that you got from being hurt, and now you could use it. But you've definitely moved past that state. And now it's become a sword of truth and clarity. Honesty, I'm hearing the word honesty. Rather than the dagger that it used to be. So I don't know if that makes sense for everyone, but that's what I'm getting. Like the defensive energy has shifted into an energy of feeling protected instead. It's beautiful. Like there's something about your energy that is beautiful. It radiates. There's a very big sign, okay, on the astral or in the energy field. I don't know. It's like, you know, you can't see it with their human eyes, but there's a sign that says, don't mess with this one, okay? That's what I'm getting. Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like you've definitely lived many lifetimes. Okay, and yeah. So let's see. Where else are we going? Yeah. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more. Concealed. The Oracle, concealed. So you know what's been concealed. Well, look, I mean, these cards are about polarity and duality. So all the cards have, you know, two sides to them. But this image as well also has a polarity, you know, what the iceberg, what's underneath, what's being concealed, and what's on the surface, the roots and the branches. You know, the karma and the dharma, the samsara, the nirvana, you know, you are a force. You are a force to be reckoned with. You can see what's concealed because you've spent time there in that concealed place, in that underworld. And you've learned from it. Wow. So I would say you're very psychic, you're very intuitive. If you have a hunch, follow it. I feel like you just get stronger and stronger. Okay, so I don't know why you need to know this. It sounds pretty good. We're going to look at your ego in this reading too and what it's thinking. But let's get one of these cards first. The Puppeteer. You are a force. Yes, you are. It says on this card, explanations and apologies. Well, you've cut ties with many souls. Okay? And some of these souls are souls you selected to be on your path. But for one reason or another, they either were always meant to get cut or you had to. They chose from their free will to follow a different timeline or to challenge you in a way that was unacceptable, I'm getting. So you've released a lot of people here, a lot of energies. Now, I will say, whoever I'm connected to today, despite you releasing them, they still feel you. Some of these people feel like they want an explanation or they want to give you an apology. I feel like it's almost this feeling with the protection of like they're not really permitted to enter your space or your field until you decide. And I don't feel like you've decided on that. I feel, well, maybe you have decided you don't want that to happen. Now, with Concealed and Puppeteer, I am going to tell you here that you are running the show. And this really feels like a continuation of the last reading. Okay? Or you know somebody just as powerful as you. There's someone around you. So what I said before is, or maybe even said it in this reading, I can't remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Just because you've ascended doesn't mean that you can never descend, right? Things are more horizontal than they are vertical. So remember that. You're on a continuum. And right now you're over here on this side of the continuum. You're think of this as a string. It's like as you move further out, you're expanding and expanding your timeline, your string, your thread. And that's good. That's beautiful. That's good because ultimately you're going to bring those two ends together and make a big circle, and your circle is going to be all encompassing is this is the image I'm seeing. But it doesn't mean that you are forever beyond the possibility of retracting and descending and making your timeline small and your circle very small. Okay? It's all about what you choose and why you choose what you choose. That's the difference. Okay? So Spirit wants to just remind you of that it's going this way. Okay? And at times you may descend a little bit, okay, in one direction or another, regroup, and redecide what you want to do, okay? There's something about like a big circle, a small circle. How much space do you want to take up? How big do you want your life to be this time around? There's a choice you have. Okay, I'm going to turn these back around, but Spirit just wanted you to see that. The Oracle. Let's see more. Now, some people around you may be nervous, scared, put off by your intuition and what you can see. They may feel as though you are controlling them in some way. Now, I don't feel like you are. Okay, everybody, ultimately is in control of themselves. That's my belief from a soul level. Whoever says that might feel like they don't have control in their life. Okay, so they're assigning it to you, even if that's in a negative sense. I know some of you joke in the comments and you're like, this was so accurate. It's like, I'm almost starting to worry that, you're spying on me or you're watching me. But then there are actual people who really believe that I'm doing that and other readers are doing that, which is like wild business. That's wild. Okay? So if you actually feel like somebody is remote viewing you or doing something kooky, bad karma-y to you, then you can create a shield of protection around yourself. You have the highest authority over your own power. You don't have the highest authority over someone else's power and over someone else's energy and over someone else's soul, but you are your highest authority with your own soul. Okay, so whatever powers you have trump anybody else's when it comes to you. Okay, so that's something to remember. So let's see. What else do we got here? Interesting. I feel like these aren't right. So hold on. There's like a distinct feeling of like, I feel like with the Six of Swords, there's some thought form that needs to be released right now, like maybe in this reading or maybe just in general. And it has to do with like accusations made against you. That you're doing something that's hurting other people in order for you to gain something. And maybe this is even a thought that you might have subconsciously that you could work through. Don't get me wrong. Do I think you are capable of doing that? Yeah, I do. I mean, 100%. I think we all are. But you've moved past that. If you hadn't moved past that, I would expect this card to be like this. Okay? But I'm picking that up just as I was talking about those other energies. It's like Spirit wants you to eliminate that idea from your aura. Okay, because the more you feed into that, the more it actually grows in your consciousness as a truth, as a reality. You can work on that idea and say like, okay, where do I think that's happening? Am I doing that in some way? Like, work on it from a self-love, shadow work integration kind of vibe. And that's different than carrying around this guilt or fear that you're doing something wrong. Okay? So let's get the cards out that we want to get out, Spirit, that we want to see. Your message, Spirit. Your message. Yes. Okay. There's a lot here. This is coming out for the position of how other people want you to show up. So I'll read that in a second. Oh, wow. This came out, I think, all three readings in that position. Ooh, the guide in this card. 5 of Wands. Okay. So let's take a look at what we got here. So how your ego, or what your ego's desiring, what your ego wants right now, is the 3 of Earth, the 3 of Pentacles. And this is working for the greater good, working together on a common goal. Okay, there's something that you're working on that has to do with protection. And there's a little bit of mystery here. There's a little bit of a tough exterior I feel that you might have. It could serve you from time to time. Just don't forget your softer aspects and when they are strengths and when they can come into play. Okay? So let's kind of clarify this a little bit. Tell me more about the 3 of Pentacles for how collective is seeing themselves, desire, what their ego's desiring here. Anything I need to know to get this message out. 4 of Cups and Strength. I'm here, I'm sexy and I know it. I don't know, 4 cups and strength. Yeah, this is a lot of confidence. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care, how you perceive me. I know myself. I know what I've been through. I know that raw animalistic side of me, and I know how to work with it. So this is you really standing firm in your own strength, as you should. This is not letting things bother you. That's what your ego is desiring, and maybe that's what you're really trying hard to do right now, is to find peace and relaxation and not let things get to you. There's also some stressful work you could be undertaking, maybe in relation to others or something you're trying to achieve, but you are putting energy towards like chilling out with it and not giving yourself undue stress. Okay, maybe with the puppeteer here, you were a little bit of a perfectionist before, okay, because you could see all the possibilities of what you could do. I'm hearing, but even with limited time. But now you're easing up on yourself, and I think this is beautiful. Okay, and there could also be someone who doesn't believe in what you're doing or doesn't agree with what you're doing, and I see you again saying, I don't care. I'm not going to listen to that. There's a place for me, and there's a place for what I'm doing. And it's important, and you're right. Okay, so I feel like your ego's doing well over here. So how other people expect you to show up. White Mage, the High Priestess, the Lovers, 9 of Fire, and the 10 of Swords. Well, other people know how intuitive you are. The Oracle and the High Priestess, they know. They know that you have access to concealed knowledge, hidden knowledge from your own experiences, maybe because you're tapped in on another level, right? Like, you know things. How they're expecting you to show up. Well, for many of you here, this isn't for all of you, but for many of you here, they expect you to tell them how to reverse course, how to get things back on track in the way that they want it to go. Okay? But you and your experience, you know that once you start growing and you got some stems and leaves and you're part of a whole nother ecosystem, you're bearing fruit, you can't shrink back down into the earth. It's just not possible. And some of the energies around you don't like where they are now. Okay, and they want to go back to something. I'm seeing like a backwards movement. They're scared of growth. And it's like they're expecting you to be able to guide them back somewhere, but it's not even possible. I don't know what this is about. Maybe somebody wants another chance, or like someone's had a life change and they can't see the possibilities in it. There's also an energy here where somebody or a group of people expect you to fight to the death, or to put all of your energy into something because you have so much knowledge and power. And maybe sometimes you do this. You know, you got the resilience, you got the energy, you know how to bring an end. I'm hearing slay. You know how to slay. You know how to bring something to an end here. Look, you have the instructions right in front of you from your higher consciousness. Okay, so this is the great responsibility, because I feel like you have done this for others or even for yourself, but there's another way you could work with your energy now. Maybe in a way that moves you closer to your nirvana. Okay. So, what your higher self is saying to you, 2 of Wands. You could be saying ravens or crows. Let's see. 2 of Wands. What is your higher self saying to you? The Emperor and the King of Pentacles. Ooh, that came out in the last reading. Or no, was it? I'm getting confused between this reading and the second one because they seem like the same energy. Or like, it's either the same energy or it's like counterparts. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's you and someone else. Okay, so it's like two sides of the same coin. So let's see. The Emperor, the King of Pentacles. Your higher self sees you as in control, having the power in the situation, knowing what to do, having the resources to do it. Nine of Cups. What you want, you can get. It's really quite that simple. Yeah, and any crossroads you find yourself at, you can, the last reading I said, take the middle path, but there's something else here for you. Seven of Cups. You can invent a new path. I'm seeing like a fork in the road and there's these two paths, kind of like the string. And then you realize it's like a whole circle instead, that there's many paths in different directions. It's not just these two paths. Okay, your higher self is very confident in you. And any forks in the road, you choose. Your higher self is confident that you will choose the right one. And you will see the many options available to you. Okay, so I feel like this is like very good. I'm not sure, other than, you know, people being suspicious of your powers, I'm not really sure what else is the tension here. But let's keep going. Let's see. Okay, your advice is the Four of Cups. Let's see more about the Four of Cups. Your advice. Ten of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and the Hermit. So what is the cup here then? The Hierophant. You may get an offer at work for marriage. I've never said that. Or from some kind of institution, some established place, or to establish, you'll get an offer to establish something, to officialize something. And Spirit is asking you to really consider whether that's the cup that you want. Because it feels to me that there's an outward force here who is going to offer you something, but you kind of have to play by certain rules here. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. This is just coming through. And maybe you can do this. I don't know. But I'm hearing it's like trying to be a witch in the Catholic Church. No, I don't know. Okay. But there's something like that. It's like this Hierophant energy, which can be the Pope, sees something in you, wants to work with you, knows your power and your ability to be strong and to lead yourself and all the things you've been through and how protected you are, and wants to work with that. But you have to compromise something, or you have to reframe your own identity to yourself or your own abilities in order to be accepted or to be recognized. It's that feeling. Okay, and Spirit's saying, do you really want that? You know, it could also be a relationship offer for some of you where somebody wants you to change your job, change the way you look, change something about yourself. Okay? Because these cards coming out to clarify the Four of Cups are showing me that your path to happiness and fulfillment comes from your own creation, comes from a self-creation, not from an outside opportunity and force. This is you creating your own potentials and opportunities and value, which is the real happiness here. It's the real cup, not this cup. Okay? So I wouldn't compromise on anything here. And I'd be very careful at looking at what's expected of you before you say yes. And actually, the advice here is to say no. That's pretty black and white. And, you know, this is still a general reading, so you have to decide for yourself. But if you are up against a yes or no situation and you don't know which way to go, Spirit's saying, go back into yourself and create a better opportunity. Find the opportunity that already exists within yourself, because there's happiness there. Okay, and you know how to do it. You know how to create it. You know how to puppeteer that for yourself. You know, you run the show, not somebody else. And it's as if somebody else wants to be the puppeteer in some way. It doesn't have to be in a malicious sense, but there's something that doesn't align here with your path. Okay, now the last, what's going to happen if you take this advice, we have the Eight of Swords. Now, I've been reading this very positively for all readings. It's the energy coming from the card, but the message I've been getting with it is that something that has been bothering you, worrying you, something you haven't been able to figure out in your mind becomes clear. So let's see. Like, look, this is like a shield right here. You know, we have shield of protection. And look, there's this spider creature thingy, you, with your shield, right? It's like, feels like protection. I would also pay attention to an anxiety you have. Like, I don't mean feed into it, but, you know, something that's telling you, like, this ain't right, something's off here, I don't know about it, it doesn't make sense. Listen to it. It's a shield of protection. Okay, I don't feel like you're being irrational. No, the Hangman. I don't. You have a different perspective that may be not like others in the way they see something. But you know what? You know something's off with something here, okay? But tell me more about the Eight of Swords for the outcome. Okay, I'm hearing yes. Ten of Cups, yes. Page of Wands, the Three of Wands. Oh, I like that image. And the Tower, the Destroyer, right. You can be both, right? You can be the creator. Well, it's not you can be, you are. You are the creator and you are the destroyer all at once. It's about what you want to create. Someone says something here with the Page of Wands and the Eight of Swords that shows you exactly the direction that they want to take. Okay, somebody tells on themselves, or they destroys their own, they've dug their own hole, or they reveal something. It gives you some confirmation. You already knew, though. You already knew. I feel like nothing's getting in the way for you. It really shouldn't. You know, Ten of Cups and the Destroyer. You make your happiness, you break your happiness. And that's a wonderful thing to know. That you have full power and control over your own perception, over your own time, I'm hearing, over your own time, and where you choose to put your energy. Look at those pictures. I mean, it's amazing. And sometimes you need to be the destroyer, right? Sometimes you need to destroy the ties that bind. And you do. You do. Okay? If something's not bringing you happiness, and you know that there's no chance of working something through, then you know you can release it. You don't have to live with these Eight of Swords being daggers that are threatening you. They can be a shield instead. This is bothering me. This isn't going to go anywhere, and therefore I'm going to turn these thoughts into my shield and destroy the connection I have to whatever it is that's bothering me. There's also something that you may need to say about what you want. Okay, you need to be clear with yourself or with someone else about what you want. Now, the Three of Wands and the Page of Wands, this is my messenger card, and this is a vision, right? Having the vision, which goes back to the Oracle. This is Spirit saying you can see both good and bad. You can see the infinite potentials and possibilities of happiness, fulfillment, joy, and you can also see the timelines of destruction and chaos. And and panic, I'm hearing. What do you want to tell them about their ability to see at all? Queen of Wands. Yeah, look at her eyes. Give me one more. The Hero, the Chariot. You're not going to always be the hero in every story you tell or every message you deliver or everything you know. But whatever you do, it should be in service to the all, because that is what you're a part of. And if you don't serve the all, like the highest good of all, then I'm seeing like you being a finger, okay, just one of many fingers of the all, and it's like something starts to rot. You know, you don't serve the highest good of all, you don't nourish the highest good of all, then something starts to rot, an arm, a neck, you know, and it just slowly spreads down to you. So make sure you're nourishing the all so that you can keep your own vitality going. That's the message. Okay, there's something difficult that you're staring at, that you're looking at, that you're seeing. And the hero really is someone who sees the difficult things and the beautiful possibilities at the same time, that doesn't neglect or ignore the dark, and doesn't neglect and ignore the light. Okay, this is about seeing both realms, both polarities, both dualities, and what they offer. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that helped. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.